Hello, my friends. Today I am back to discuss my movie and book wrap up for May. As usual, I'm going to talk about everything that I watched and read in the month of May, so let's get into it. First up, I saw Clown in a Cornfield at the cinemas, and I remember when I read this book back in 2020, I thought that it would make a great slasher, and I was right. This is about a girl that moves to a new town where there's something sinister afoot, and it isn't long before her and her friends are being chased by killer clowns. But there's a lot more to this story. There is a mystery aspect and a big reveal at the end. I think it's important not to take this movie too seriously. It is purely for fun. It is a popcorn horror. There is no real depth to it. The dialogue is very corny, pardon the pun, but you know what? It's meant to be. It sort of reminded me of Thanksgiving, which came out a couple of years ago. It's very gory and violent, and the kills are really unique and fun. I then watched The Ugly Stepsister, which is a new film on Shudder. This is a Norwegian body horror movie. It is a twisted tale on the classic Cinderella story. And you may think that's been done before, but not like this. Basically, the ugly stepsister is very jealous of the Cinderella character in this story, and she will do anything to compete with her to win the prince's affections. And I mean anything. She undergoes several primitive plastic surgeries that are very hard to watch. And as you can see by the tagline, if the shoe doesn't fit, well, you'll do anything to make it fit. Very gory, very disgusting, very violent, very good. I then saw Final Destination Bloodlines at the cinema, and I had been waiting the longest time, and it did not disappoint. To me, this movie had the best opening scene, the best closing scene, and maybe the best premonition in the entire franchise. I really love how it paid fan service, but not too much. It wasn't trying to compete with the originals, it stood on its own. It also gave us a lot more answers, like who Tony Todd's character was from the beginning and his purpose. And it made me quite emotional seeing his final words to his fans. Please go check this one out if you haven't already. I then watched Fear Street Prom Queen, which is part of my movie club that I have with my mum and sister. It was my turn to choose for May, and I picked this one. I had loved and watched the original trilogy back in 2020, and I was hoping that this one would live up to it, but unfortunately it didn't. It's a very run of the mill story. There's nothing original or new about this. It's about a group of prom queens or girls going to prom competing for the title of prom queen that get murdered one by one. And I just think that it was way too cheesy and way too corny and a little bit too low budget to be taken seriously. The motivation of the killer was very weak and far fetched. It was just very cringy. I then watched Revenge, and oh my god, I love this film. This is by the same director that did The Substance. So, this is her first movie, The Substance is her second movie, and you can really see the influences in both. This is about a woman who is spending some time with her lover who is married not to her. And one weekend, his friends come to visit, and one of his friends does something against her consent, whilst the other friend watches and does nothing. And when she tells her lover about what happened and he doesn't respond how he should, she threatens to tell his wife that he has a lover. And so what does he do? He and his friends try to kill her. But she isn't taking it. No, she gets her revenge one by one on all of them, and it is very bloody and gory and satisfying. I really like that this director has a theme with her female protagonists. They are very sexy, confident women that will do anything in pursuit of what they want. And I just think that this is a great, great film. I really love the color grading as well. You can see how much blood that she has running through her hair and on her face, but she's still wearing her hot pink star earrings. I then saw Bring Her Back at the cinemas and I cried a lot all the way home. This movie is a masterpiece. Honestly, the Filippo brothers continue to deliver standout films. Their first film, Talk to Me, was my favorite of the year, and this one is just a hair behind it. This is a very tragic, very sad story about two children that lose their dad and are put into a foster home. And what they discover in their foster home is truly the stuff of nightmares. This is a movie all about grief and the lengths someone will go to bring someone back from the dead. Go into it preparing to be sad. Just be prepared. The last film that I watched for the month was The Mugai, which came out, I think, last year. This is a Aboriginal Indigenous horror movie, so I was really excited to watch this because that hasn't really been done before. Mugai is an Indigenous term for ghost. This is about a woman who has just had a baby and becomes convinced that her other child is possessed and is going to harm her newborn child. And it fell very flat for me. I am so disappointed. I wanted this to be so much better than it was. The acting was horrendous, especially from the lead character. This is a very serious film. There is nothing comedic about it, and every line she delivered, she looked like she was about to laugh. I could not take her seriously. I am, yeah, just really let down. I wish that this had been better than it was. And then for TV shows, I finished the latest season of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, which I love. This is my favorite spin off in the franchise. It's just so good. I don't know how they continue to outdo themselves season after season. This is the one to watch. And I finished season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race Live Untucked, which is just behind the scenes of the show that they put on at the Flamingo. It's really fun. There's not a lot to it, but they're just 20-minute episodes if you want a bit more of a backstory or behind the scenes look at what the girls do day in and day out as they're performing. And then for books, I read 2 books in the month of May. The first one was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This book keeps getting compared to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I don't think that's fair. It does stand on its own and it's actually quite different. This is about 2 authors that are competing to tell the story of this mysterious heiress called Margaret Ives. And her story is one of great tragedy and heartbreak, but it also has a lot of twists and turns. I actually really enjoyed this. I thought it was very different for her. It's a lot deeper, it's less focused on the romance and more focused on this story that she's telling. And I actually loved it. I ranked all of her books last month on my blog, which you can check out, and this one was ranked quite highly for me. And the last book I read was The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I'm also going to be ranking all of his books once I'm finished. This is about a woman who witnesses unusual activity at the house across the lake, and it's sort of got like a Rear Window vibe, but it has a really strange twist. Like, this twist is one of the weirdest I've ever read in a book. It was so unhinged, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it was a real page turner. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I just don't know how I feel about this twist. I am really on the fence about it. And so that's everything that I watched and read in the month of May. There are a lot of good movies coming out this month: Dangerous Animals, Megan 2.0, and 28 Years Later, which I will be seeing. Let me know everything that you watched and read in the month of May, and I'll be back very soon with another video.